Doctor of philosophy. Maybe that's the problem. The philosophy part. Everything in life, it cannot be intellectualized. Lived experiences are just as important as a PhD. You will find that a person that lives a day-to-day ordinary life knows far more than a person that holds a PhD. Once upon a time, I was asked by some of y'all why I have such disrespect for people that are highly educated. I had to correct that. As a matter of fact, I have the utmost respect for people that hold a certificate, a diploma, an honors, a master's, all the way to PhD. I have the greatest of respect for those people because to me it indicates that if I had to sit down with them, I'm going to learn something that I did not know. The things that I know, it's not because I learned them at school. No. So when I was growing up, I used to be naughty. Some of you guys already know this story. And sometimes when my mom asks me why you did what you did, I would give probably a stupid answer. Now you must remember, my mother is not educated. Uneducated, completely. And you know what she would say to me every time when she expected at least a clever answer? She would say, Nhlanhla mntanam, awube umuntu omenyekayo. Awube umuntu omenyekayo. Be a person that is invitable. That's a direct translation from Zulu to English. Be a person that is invitable. I did not understand back then what she meant. But as I was growing older and I took interests in variety of topics, politics, economics, science, philosophy, anthropology, you name it, I took an interest, including medicine, law, all these other stuff, including education. I took an interest in that. You know why I took an interest in that? Because as I was growing older, I began to understand what my mom meant. Iba umuntu omenyekayo. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I'm talking the pronunciation, but you get what I'm saying. So basically means if I am invited to, let's say, a black tie gala or whatever the case might be, the people that I'm going to meet there and the people that I'm going to sit with around that gala table, and there's a topic about, let's say, quantum physics. Angadunyelwa yikhanda, which means there must not be that ding sound in my head and look everybody and say, what on earth are they talking about? Some people expresses lack of knowledge by zooming out while they are sitting amongst people. And all these people are having a conversation, and then somebody sitting next to you would say, so, Clantis, what do you think about what's being said? Imibani, the lights go off. That's how I understood. Be invitable. Let me tell you something. If you invite me to whatever event, it doesn't matter what the event is, I always leave an impression. And whenever there's another event, guess who gets called first or sent an invitation? Me. Ngiyamenyeka. I am invitable. Why? Because number one, I'm Clantis. Number two, I'm Cancer. Number three, I can hold down the most difficult of conversations. Hands down. And everybody be looking at me. And you know what I also love about me? This Zulu, we say, unyanseka. And I don't know how many times I've come across people say, after discovering that I'm not what they thought I am. But you know when unonyanseka, that means my first impressions to people, it's Because of the way I dress. Oh no, you'll never find me dressed fancy. I buy my clothes at Pep Store. I buy my clothes. The highest or the most expensive shop probably for me would be Mr. Price if I like something. Yeah, when you grow up poor and you were your mom buying you secondhand clothes, with some of us, we take that into our adulthood. And also, ukudla uphuthu nombhubhudlo. That's eating putu with water mixed with sugar because we did not have beef, we did not have all the amenities for a curry. So, and you go to bed with that. I still do that to this very day with the fridge full of food. I know I'm digressing, but I'm just painting a picture here so that you get to understand that why I feel the way I feel about people that I'm supposed to be holding at very high regard because of their education level, the level that they've gotten. I mean, when you have a PhD, you have hit the ceiling. You are more than an intellectual. You are almost like, I don't want to use an offense, not offensive, but more like a blasphemic verb. But I think you get what I'm saying. So me, through life experiences, I got to grow my intellectual capacity, of course, mixed with formal education, plus also coming from a basic education background that one might say, oh, you were privileged. No, I was poor. You know how I got to those schools that cost 250,000 Rand a year? And the kids, when they are dropped at school, they were dropped in Ferraris, Mercedes Benzes, and every brand new car, I saw it firsthand. My classmates being dropped by their parents, their drivers or chauffeurs, they call them, because of scholarship. I was getting into these schools through scholarships. And because of that, the inspiration, how do I get this? How do I get there? I had to befriend the school library. So much so that I even became a library prefect in primary school and high school. And I even became a prefect, like a general prefect and nonobal of the prefect body, secretary. So, not to waste your time, and let me clarify my position with people that hold degrees. Remember, I told you I used to get invited. Not that I don't, I still get invitations. If you see my emails right now, I just decline. I don't RSVP anymore. You know why I don't RSVP anymore? Every time when I leave either a black tie event or an event that is filled with academics, I come back home feeling stupid. I come back home feeling stupid. So there's a difference I've seen in my observation. Academics that of the 90s, today they are probably in the mid 50s, late 50s. Those people are inspirational to listen to. Sometimes you just listen to them and you're like, wow, can I have your brain for 24 hours? That feeling. But instead, I think from the 2005, 2009, 10, it's as if there was this force that came and I don't know, have you watched Hocus Pocus? Yeah, the three witches. Is it three? Yeah, the three witches that sucked the youth out of young girls because they want to live forever and always look young. I think at this point they're about 500 years old and things of that nature. It's like Hocus Pocus witches came and the moment you collect your PhD and you walk off the stage very proud, because the things that come out of these people's mouths sometimes, it leaves you going, I want to use a word, but okay, I want to respect you. You're like, what the? What? I'm sorry. Everything is philosophy. Everything is philosophy. You know, I was taught by my mom once again, you must remember, she's uneducated. She would say to me, Nhlanhla, kunezindawo la kumele wenze something la ungeke uyenze kwenye indawo. That means not every place you go to, you're like a racehorse with what they call these things, blinkers, so that they just focus in there, they don't get distracted. If I am going to be addressing ordinary men on the streets, the assumption is the man on the streets likes simplicity because of maybe their academic background. This is South Africa at the end of the day. You have people that are educated, you have people that are still uneducated, and usually will be the older generation. There's 95% of literacy in South Africa. We rank number 2 on the African continent. And also number 2, the most educated country on the continent. So that means the people who may be listening to you either on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, radio, talk radio, television, wherever, maybe you're addressing a crowd, an event, the assumption must always be not everybody here has the kind of comprehension of the things that are going to come out of your mouth. Basically, what I'm trying to say, get out of your high horse. There's a place for you to be a philosopher. People's day-to-day life experiences, it's not about philosophy. People don't eat philosophy. People don't want to hear philosophy. If you want to be philosophical, go to your like. People the same wavelength as you. Oh, then you guys can lie to each other all you want. Debate and rebut, and that's great. It's something very fantastic to witness, by the way. Except for nowadays. That's why I do not RSVP no longer. Because every time I leave an event where I'm supposed to have learned something, I feel like my brain cells have been shot. Some of these people hold PhDs. They hold PhDs, masters, MBA, you name it. Everything to them is philosophy. I always looked at it this way. Show off. You want to somersault. You want to do gymnastics because you want to show me that intellectually you are superior. That's stupidity at its best, by the way. So it's not that I disrespect people who hold PhDs and masters and all of that stuff. It looks like in South Africa, pointless. Oh, pointless. Because what do you get out of that? What do you walk away when you go home and you reflect on what you heard? Forget learning. What you heard, how do you put that and apply it in your life? Versus somebody, I don't know if you've ever done this. Me, that's what I always do to this very day. The people that I have utmost respect for are older people that have never seen a classroom. Some have seen a classroom, but because of life and everything that life threw at them, their wisdom grew. All those people, I challenge you to sit down and listen to them. Listen to them about every issue that ordinary South Africans are struggling from. And also listen to them when they talk about the middle class and the upper class to the elite. Makes perfect sense. And one thing I love about them, they will never cast aspersions. They will never offend or insult. They just want you to come into this world that they have lived in and their experiences at the grassroots, because these are the people at the grassroots who have to hop on a taxi every single morning, either to be a garden boy or a domestic worker or a cleaner at a law firm or something. And because they go to these places, they observe these middle class people, upper class people, and the elites. How they interact with each other, how they interact with them, the lower class, the peasants, and the things that they will tell you. And then you know what they will say at the end of the day? It was correct of God to keep me where I am. Because when you go up a few steps on the ladder, for some reason, people began to suffer from amnesia. You will have people say, Township, I hate that place. This is the place where they were born, bred, and built them. But they will say they hate it. This is a degree holding human being. It doesn't matter which level of the education they're in. I hate the township. Oh, and they will list the things that they hate about the township. Missing an opportunity to adopt one or two or three of the people they are talking about. If they are ignorant, how about pulling them in? Now and again, take them to coffee and let's have a conversation about what's going on in the country, geopolitics, if that's what you want to enlighten them about. No. Ugh. And then the upper class, the way they treat the middle class. Let me tell you something. All of them are degree holding people. The upper class is abusing the middle class. At upper class level, oh, those people, gatekeepers. They struggle with prejudices. They do not see anything that the class below them has any type of chance they should offer them. If you are watching right now a court battle, I don't know if you're watching that, the lawyer firm thing, how some white law firms, like your big law firms that I have such respect for, are saying, oh no, on our executive, no, we're not going to have a black person there. No, thank you. They all hold the same degree, LLB. Some may have LLM, some may even went as far as PhD. But no, they cannot be partners. No. That's their problem. And then the elite, because the upper class will be your, not even CEO, probably like general managers, what you call these people, some directors, whatever the case might be. The elites are the owners, the CEOs, the people that walk away every single year with a bonus that when you look at the numbers, you literally have to use units so that it makes sense what you are reading. Do you see the stupidity of it all? I don't know if you realize that. People at the grassroots, yes, they are struggling. They're going through a lot. But when they eat their putu and cabbage without condiments, without salt, curry powder, because they don't have. You know how that food goes down their throat? Oh, smoothly. But the ones that are above, especially the middle class, they cry tears. They are broke. They are ineligible to get a house. I'm talking about the black ones, by the way, because the most guilty culprit, it is us black people. And if you think I am making this up, you know somebody who is a domestic worker for a black family and how they are treating her. That's what I'm talking about. They are robbing them. They're not paying them minimum wage. They hire them to clean house, but they also leave them with children, and they become nannies, but they don't get paid for being nannies. Sometimes they say, but you stay here, you eat my food. So every time when I hear that, I want to punch something, not a human being. That's how evil black middle class is with their degrees. So, what inspired this conversation in my head? Dr. Ndlozi. He is the epitome of what I've just said. People respect Dr. Ndlozi based on one thing and one thing only: the level of education. I have listened to Dr. Ndlozi for the longest time when he was in the EFF and as a spokesperson of the EFF. He always left me going, huh? Can you imagine my surprise when I heard that he's graduating to get his PhD? I was like, okay, not to invalidate or be rude or offensive towards Dr. Ndlozi, but something in me was like, who wrote it for him? Why am I saying this? Because of my observations. There is no way that you can be a PhD or maybe going through a PhD process and you are part of an organization that you don't know whether it's going or coming. Shouldn't you use your intellectual analogies to say, let me foresee the future here? And on top of that, how will this affect me at some point in my life? These are critical questions that PhD holders do not ask. And the reason why I'm using air quotes here, not every PhD holder in South Africa actually went through the process. Some of them have a professor of some sort that you pay some millions of rands or hundreds of thousands of rands. And then they write your dissertations. And then they mark their own dissertations. And then they credit you. If you think I am lying, let's use a person with an MBA. Julius Mkhwanazi. You've listened to Julius Mkhwanazi at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, probably even at the head of committee. Somebody who uses a past tense, and I know somebody's like, well, English is not our mother tongue, what. No, you are not focusing on the topic. Who uses a past tense of put as putted? Not because he made a mistake and said, oh, I meant put. He repeatedly, to a point where it became acceptable to some people who were listening for progress sake, putted. And on top of that, comprehension. The whole point of going to school, whether at basic education or high school, tertiary, wherever, is to build the skill of understanding, number one, what you are hearing. If it's on text, what you are reading. Do you comprehend it? It means, do you understand? And if you do understand what you are reading, I mean, I'm going to take you back to English comprehension, funny enough. You will be asked a question about Betty. Betty went to the store to go buy a bottle of honey. While Betty was going to the store to buy a bottle of honey, she came across a tree, and the tree had honey. Instead of going to the shop, she decided to take the honey and go home to make her own honey syrup, or whatever the case might be. And then the question will be, why did she do that? And in your own understanding, substantiate why she did that. This is to test your comprehension, your understanding, but most importantly, your listening skills. You know, again, I'm going to go back to my childhood. Mother dearest, every time, as I was growing a little bit older, when I was in Kalupodla, because the moment a Zulu woman, the son start upod, meaning start having maybe the voice breaks or they have like some sort of a bass. Usually Zulu mothers, they step back from discipline. To them, they've done everything they could. And I'm talking about single mothers here. I don't know about boys that are coming from two-parent homes. I come from a single-parent home. So all my memories and probably examples that I'm going to make are going to be based on single mothers. Why aren't they not presidents of this country is what I want to know. Mother dearest will say, Ntanam, now I'm like, 14? I'm no longer getting a hiding because now I have a bit of a, she'll say, Ntanam, meaning my child, God, yeah, when God created humans, also some animals as well, gave them 2 ears and 1 mouth. And you can already imagine why she's telling me this, because I would answer back when she is telling me something that is going to build me. She would say, you got 2 ears to listen more and 1 mouth to speak less. Well, I learned over the years that almost every family say that, and it's across the board, whether you're white, Indian, colored, or Chinese, they say the same thing. And it's true. You need to use your ears more than talking. Dr. Lozi used a lot of his mouth with his PhD. I'm sorry, we cannot run away from the fact that he has a PhD. That's the ground to judge him. Dr. Lozi is a typical black man that comes from the Val. I think Sebokeng, if I'm not mistaken. Have you seen Sebokeng right now? Or the Val for that matter. I'm talking the townships. If you can drive on a smooth road, you are lucky in the Val. Oh, you are lucky. If you drive without hitting potholes and ducking and diving and giving each other chances with the car that's coming opposite you because there's a night spot to navigate your car. That's where Ndlozi comes from. When Ndlozi became EFF, now that we are also learning, and I'm not saying that he did so, EFF is found to be mentioned in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, bidding for tenders. For what? Goodness knows. Some of the people that he led with are accused by a man that is already convicted of looting VBS Bank. So, leaving Sebokeng or wherever he comes from the Val, and then instead of shooting to the middle class, he went straight to the upper class. That means he is so far detached and out of touch with where he comes from. Hence the utterances he made yesterday, or whenever he made those utterances, that much and much they are generating hate for African people. He even said they are a xenophobic group. A PhD holder would have analyzed the situation. A PhD holder would have went down to the grassroots and and probably lived for at least a year at the grassroots with people where illegal foreigners are running a rampage. Before he came and made a conclusion that an organization that started a year ago, March and March, and with all that it has done, he reduces them to a hate group that's generating hate for Africans. Nowhere does he acknowledge the struggle of the people down there. Had he first gone down there and lived with the people down, in fact, he doesn't have to live with them. He once upon a time led them. Young people, unemployed, that support that party. And the reason why they are supporting the party and voting for it is because of the language. Whatever the language they use. They thought by voting the political party he once led, their lives were going to improve. How fast did he forget? Oh, his leader in front of him, while he was still there, told the EFF followers and members that foreigners, well, we know that our issue here is illegal foreigners. They are their employers. Do you see how useless, in my opinion, him going around being called Dr. Lozi? How is his philosophy of the conclusion he made going to change the situation for the people of where he comes from? Where he comes from, I don't know where that neighborhood is from, Sibukeng or wherever Lozi comes from, had to put together a stokvel, bought a bakery with equipment, and they started baking bread, and they named it Isinkwa Sethu, using their 350s. But Ndlozi is not going to talk about that. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it for the last time. When things started, if you followed me for a few months now, you would have heard me say, what it was Dudula at the time, that was the popular group. And I had said, you will hear a person one day that holds a PhD so far detached from the realities of the Black people, South Africans, about clinics. That PhD holder will be living in the suburbs with a medical aid. He doesn't have to go to a clinic the night before so that they are at least number 10. Because when you go there by 12 midnight, you are too late. Oh, you are too late. And guess who are all these people in that queue? South Africans, old women. And Lozi is saying, they are all, I'm not saying that's what he said. I'm just reading between the lines from what he's saying. They are all crazy. Because he has a medical aid. Probably he lives in a gated community or a house that is highly fenced with electronic tools to go in and out of his house. His fridge is full. He doesn't have to bother about anything. He lives in a utopia. What are y'all talking about? Leave those Africans alone. They are forming organizations. And when they start attacking South Africans, Ndlozi has the ability and capability to take all his family, immediate and even extended, put them in a plane and fly off to another country for sanctuary, whatever it is they're going to go there for, while the rest of us get slaughtered. I hope now you get to see why I speak the way I do about people who hold degrees. It's your degree, and nobody can ever take it away from you. But what is the purpose of it? Do you understand that? For a person who is educated, you would know where and what to say in specific spaces versus where you use philosophy. People don't eat philosophy. People don't eat ideologies. People don't eat whatever nonsense that comes out of your mouth. People live real lives. Next time, Mr. Ndlozi, if you want to say something smart, you need to go down to where the people are at. Yeah, that ladder, until you reach the people down there. Live their lives. Live their experiences. Probably you might not even make it because somebody would have come into your shack or township house, broken, they're undocumented, and unalived you. That's the reality, not philosophy. I find it very interesting that people in the middle class themselves, oh, those are the dumbest South Africans ever. The middle class, black middle class, stupid to the core. And I understand most of them, they come from NG Muteka education system. Thinking beyond their nose is something that they couldn't bother about. But they occupy positions in corporate. I don't know if things that I've come across and they submit a report. You read the report and you call this individual to your office and say, I'm sorry, what's your highest level of education? Oh, I have bachelor's of. I'm busy working on my honors, or I'm busy working on my master's. Oh, nice, impressive. So you got a degree and yet you don't know how to punctuate. Your spelling is out of this world. They get offended. They go to HR. I don't know how many times I've been taken to HR before for using figures of speech. Especially, I learned that my education is not the same as everyone else's. But I thought we all learned the same thing. But I got shocked that, oh my gosh, you don't know what a figure of speech is? You think that is an offense? I mean, we saw this yesterday in Rata's courtroom. Mr. Ramusipili uses a figure of speech of jumping up and down. Oh, and I don't think Advocate Baloyi doesn't know that was a figure of speech. He knew very well. But because he's already pushed against the corner, he shouts about, hey, this is disrespect. I remember very well, back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s, one of the member of parliament used the word nonsense. A whole debate on if it's parliamentary for an honorable member to say nonsense. Yeah? And as I grew a little bit older and then interacting with my fellow black people, I learned that it is an offense to say nonsense. Not so long ago, Pagalum Tagati was having a meeting with, I think, Pakistanis and Bangladeshis in Nongoma. One of the Pakistanis or whatever used the word nonsense, and Pagalum Tagati did not take kindly to that. So I got to understand that, and that is why you'll never hear me use it on somebody unless you are saying nonsense. I'll say to you, you are speaking nonsense. Anyways, there's a lot to unpack here, but we need to have this conversation. Umuntu nomuntu akanake iphokethe lakhe. People at the grassroots, they are fighting. They are in their own bubble. And that bubble has been invaded. You have your own bubble that you have elevated to. You got issues there. As a black person who wants to buy a house, it's bleak to even get it. But if you go to the same bank and say, I'm interested to buy a Mercedes Benz or a Range Rover, with big smile on their faces, they say, okay, let's see. And your credit score allows it, you walk away with your Mercedes Benz or Range Rover. You know why they will never give you a house? Because you are a high risk, you black, you are careless, you drink and you drive drunk. Who's going to pay the house when you are gone or crippled? Some of y'all are careless with sex. You go there swoon and you contract. Yes, I know there are ARVs, but ARVs don't work for everybody. And the banks know this. That's your problem that you should be dealing with in your pocket. You need to be dealing with the upper class that are not paying you guys equally based on your race. But no, you want to mind the business of people at the grassroots where you left them and you speak big English, philosophies. This is not a lecture hall. And definitely you are not writing thesis. Nobody's going to mark you. Leave the people at the grassroots to fight their own issues so that someday they too can elevate to where you are. Maybe they might teach you one thing or two when they get there, because clearly they're very expressive down there. You have your own battles. People that are the elite, they have their own issues too, with the government, investors. Some of them are even pew-pewing each other. If they're not pew-pewing each other, they are committing, you know what? Others, they're involved in white-collar crimes. Come on, guys. I feel like in South Africa, that's what we need to do. That group of people mind their own business. And that group of people mind your own business. You got issues amongst yourselves. But no one is rising up and leading that. No, let's go where it's easy. Bully those people at the grassroots because I have a PhD. Call them names. Offend them because you have a PhD. No. Yekanje abantu pants, Dr. Ndlozi. Mind your business at this level. Who knows? Since you come from the EFF, what scandals are we going to hear? Remember, if there are scandals at all, and you are held accountable, guess what happens? All of that house of cards you are living in will crumble. And when it does crumble, guess where you're going to go back to? Y'all don't think about tomorrow. It's easy to open your mouth simply because you are known to be smart. That was not a smart move. Sir, I'm telling you right now, that was not a smart move. Sometimes, if you don't know what to say, shut up. Just shut up. You know what I also, I don't approve of this, but I'm telling you, some people who hate black people during braai, they use the K word when they talk about us. Maybe that's what the middle black class needs to start doing. Call us paras when you are sitting drinking Heinekens and Hennessy's and whatever drinks that you guys drink because you are better. Maybe that's what you need to do. Shut up. Anyways, I will leave this video right here. I think the video is getting a little way too long, but I need to cough up this. I needed to cough this up. so that you get to understand what also runs across my mind. So, do I respect people who hold PhDs? Yeah, I do. Those that got their PhDs. And I have more respect for people who have PhDs that actually come and embody their stance. They live with us for a year or 5 years, write your notes, do your analogy, dissections, do your little theses. And then one day when you are asked a question about how do you feel about much and much, maybe you will empathize. And I'm not saying that you should agree about everything, but you are not going to talk to them like they are crazy and criminal and evil. And it stops there, full stop. That's stupid. Anyways, guys, I will leave this video right here. Please, whatever you do, enjoy your Wednesday. Please take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and definitely defend this country. Some of these people are paid. I'm not saying Dr. Ndlozi is, but there's a bag somewhere that's going to go to somebody to speak opposite of everything that people at the grassroots are fighting for or against. Goodbye.